Hello, everybody. I just wanted to quickly introduce myself before I start my research presentation. I'm Abby Shanae. I am a fifth grade special education teacher. With that being said, my first year teaching has really inspired me to choose the topic that I did. With that being said, I chose the topic of our high school seniors prepared for post secondary education. Um, I chose this topic because of my personal high school experience and just remembering the transition and how difficult it was me for to take all of the exams that are necessary, such as like the ACT, SAT, and thinking back, I truly don't think that the teachers, the counselors, truly pinpointed the specific areas that are necessary for the future. And this isn't necessarily um, for post secondary education like college or anything else that people choose to do, but just life in general. So this really inspired me to choose my topic of preparedness of seniors as they transition into that post secondary education. Um, I also chose this topic because after speaking with close family members, close friends, they had a very similar experience in high school where they truly didn't feel like they were prepared for all of the post secondary education decisions and just knowledge in general. As a special education teacher in fifth grade, I think specifically in this area, it is so important to provide not even just curriculum, but um, knowledge that will allow them to move forward in any grade level and not even grade level life as well. They need those basic skills to then apply it to school or anything else that it may entail. So, my personal experience with high school really inspired me to do a little more research, do a little more digging. So then I'm able to implement it to students. So, as they get older and transition to different grade levels, they don't experience the same experience. So I think this is very important for, again, not only gen ed students, but special ed students as well. So it should, target both areas. Um, After determining the topic that I wanted to do, I then thought about the necessary steps that an educator should and could provide to then provide a smooth, successful transition. Um, After doing some research, there are multiple steps an educator can do and strategies that they can implement to ensure that students are prepared to move into the real world, whether that be implement activities that focus on basic skills or even becoming familiar with a student's goals and what they want to do after school. So if they want to go to a certain school, college, university, the teacher should take the time to then do a little research, dig a little deeper to become aware of the background knowledge that is necessary to move forward and have that successful transition. While doing my research, I saw many variables that have affected the preparedness of transitioning from high school to a post-secondary education. I did see some patterns in the data that was presented and that was collected through qualitative research. This was definitely common. Qualitative research is used primarily through surveys and interviews, and I truly believe that this is the most reliable way to receive the information that you want to receive. Data showed comparison between, one example that I saw, one pattern that I did read upon was seeing the comparison between first generation students and non-first generation students, meaning did your parents go to college? Did they have that experience or did they not? The data showed that both of those categories of students, the non-first generation and the first generation, it showed that both of those categories, the students took advantage of different resources. So whether that be counseling or taking those extra classes, there was a difference between both of those categories. There wasn't a true balance showing the strengths and weaknesses. Another topic that I came across and that I am going to do some more research upon is providing data on the preparedness of schools, which I thought was interesting, was parent and sport involvement. The two areas of parent and sport involvement kind of connected with each other because it kind of correlated with communication. And communication can be very important, especially between a student and a family. And with that communication can, then be applied to school. Lastly, there were certain areas I really wanted to dig a little deeper, and that is the connection between low-income families versus high-income families, and how this specific area may affect one's level of preparedness. So whether that be education on the topic or family involvement, are they receiving the correct support? Is family involvement truly the most important factor, or is it just part of it? Can educators provide that missing education that the parent may not be providing? And what can we do to encourage these kids on both aspects to both set goals and achieve those goals? So that is just part of my research that I'm going to do more research upon. And I think there's many levels and variables that affect a child's preparedness for post-secondary education. And I think this is very fitting for special education because they need that extra support. So if educators are not providing the correct support for the general population, that's going to be difficult, but it's going to be, twice as challenging for special education students because they aren't going to go above and beyond to, do the research independently unless they're receiving that support from home. So again, there are very, very, very many variables to preparedness, and I think it's a very, very important topic that educators should have knowledge upon, so then we can move forward and provide the support that our special education students need, as well as the general population students.